Hi, this is Sandy with SDS Digital and the Accord Sequarallel with version 3.0 features, part 2. First we'll have a look at the new layer StepFX option, Stop Last. Normally when a layer loop letter plays, it will play through to the end unless interrupted by itself, the same letter. These loops are all the same size, but the steps are twice the size, so they loop once. Steps without that letter opted in won't play it, well, unless the recording was late starting. You can hear layer letter G has stopped now. With shorter steps, each may be interrupted or play through into a step that doesn't have that letter. Let's make a new layer loop step sequencer number 3. Because it's isolated in the playlist, it will just play over and over. So I'll make some steps only 2 bars long. Only 2 bars of the 4 are playing, so with another step in play, it can play through before having to restart on step 1. So can layer letter B play through once back up to step 1. B and D are playing in step 1, but maybe we don't want them to. Here's the new feature, Stop Last. Right away you can hear that B and D have stopped on step 1. Layer letter A is still playing through, so setting Stop Last in step 2 will halt it as well. This seems like a pretty whimsical addition, but it can be very useful, especially for a break or a drop in the sequence, where everything needs to stop for a bar or two. So the piano on F has been stopped. This works from one layer sequence in the playlist to another, which is useful for stopping everything playing in one for the new one to start, which may be different. Single bars can be played with any layers, without worrying about them bleeding into something else. This last feature enables recording to a single lane in the TRAX tracker. Normally, while running, a mono sequence of MIDI notes will get recorded into the first lane, then overwritten once the sequence loops. I've configured the CC5 and CC6 jacks to note and gate inputs from the RITM to the left, which is scale quantized to -7. Looping a CV sequence, but not in clock sync. This will provide a series of notes to record. To stop the notes, I'll simply unplug the gate input. Back to the TRAX tracker, let's turn on record to get them in. Now to patch in the gate. You can see the steps loading and updating with the new notes. The only immediate way to get notes into the other lane is to play multiple notes, i.e. chords, into TRAX at the same time. Unplugging the gate input stops updates, and the sequence of last recorded notes continues. With this new feature, selecting a fill size, then highlighting in the grid will bring record focus to that region only. No other notes will be modified. So let's try fill region of 6 steps. Double-click to place it, and patch the gate back in to capture some notes. They only appear in the highlighted area. It's not all at once because the RITM is on its own clock with tapped-in gates. As the sequence passes these selected steps, the notes, if any, are added. The highlighted area could be the whole sequence, which in this case is 16 steps, but will only load into the selected lane. A rather interesting perk to this recording feature is taking advantage of skip steps. Now only every second step is updated with new notes, while the non-highlighted notes are left alone. One must remember to remove the source before exiting the highlighted steps, or the entire sequence will be quickly overwritten by incoming notes. Now there's no danger of that happening. Along with song effects scaling the CV to notes as they come in, there's a lot of possibilities when used with a standard CV sequencer even. Almost like a DJ mixer. Here's something I like to do. As by default, when recording to the TRAX tracker, note effects assignments are protected, so any note effects on the grid remain as the notes are changing. Note lengths per step can be ever-changing and will be overwritten, although they can be set to a fixed value if preferred. For a hand-played MIDI note input, probably the entire lane should be highlighted as some notes won't appear, which does feel a little weird. For sequencing in notes though, via CV or MIDI, it can be very interesting. Don't forget that, as usual, while selected, scrolling will transpose all of these notes up or down, but new ones will be added at the same time. So here's what happens if you don't remove the source of the note stream coming in and unhighlight. Well, it's a good way to get rid of what's in the other lanes. The one-step note entry, without play, ignores this feature for obvious reasons. Version 3.0 will be released shortly after this video goes live. Thanks for watching.